What happens when a nation is paralyzed? What makes a nation paralyzed? Is it self-inflicted? Can it affect surrounding countries? What about industries and businesses in that nation? Does that mean they are also paralyzed? This is the case of the Russian war and its effects on Russia as a country and a business empire. In today's video, we're going to take you through one of the several industries the Russian war has paralyzed. Let's go. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is causing ripple effects in the automotive supply chain. The attack also has prompted companies to stop shipping to Russia or suspend operations there. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has led auto industry watchers to cut production and sales forecasts for the next 2 years. The crisis has shuttered factories in Eastern Europe and caused spikes in the prices of already precious raw materials. The Russian incursion into Ukraine last year has thrown European and global markets into a frenzy as automakers work to determine how big an impact the war and any economic sanctions against aggressor Russia will have on supply lines, production, and workforces who could now be in direct danger. Europe's home automakers will be hit the hardest as supply lines from Ukraine and Russia freeze up while bombs get dropped. However, Hyundai and Kia's massive manufacturing presence in Russia now presents a huge headache for the Korean group as well. Multiple global automakers have reportedly halted shipments of local dealer orders to Russian partners, effective February 24th, the date of the Russian invasion, according to letters apparently sent from the automakers and viewed by the Russian-language business paper Vedomosti. Russian dealers for Audi and Chevrolet reportedly received notices, and Vedomosti claims VW and Skoda are prepping notices of their own. Porsche and Land Rover's Tata Group had also halted shipments starting the date of the Russian invasion. If this is all true, and it likely is, it's unclear exactly what conditions forced the shutdown, but it probably isn't going to be easy getting your car through Russia customs right now. The report says Audi will inform its partners on its plans to resume shipments down the road. Any inventory from automakers that's already passed through Russian customs will still be delivered. The quick move to halt shipments to Russia on part of most automakers is likely precautionary and temporary, and more to do with establishing new logistics options adapted to an environment now at war and in the environment of new global sanctions against Russia. Companies obviously face public pressure to not appear too cozy with the current aggressor, so the shipment freeze is likely an indefinite delay until everybody calms down. Russia's response to this. Russia's government has relaxed safety and emission standards for locally built vehicles as it looks to stimulate production following an exodus of Western manufacturers over Moscow's war in Ukraine. According to a government resolution quietly approved on May 12, 2022, airbags and seatbelt pretensioners, which lock seatbelts in place in the event of a crash, will no longer be mandatory in automobiles. The resolution, which will be valid until February 1, 2023, also allows the production of vehicles without anti-lock braking systems, ABS, electronic stability controls, ESC, and emergency signal systems, all standard safety equipment for new cars in most parts of the world. The safety systems were introduced in car-making standards in Russia after leading foreign automobile makers came to the market in the early 2000s. However, major car producers have exited the market since Russia launched its unprovoked invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022. Big automobile companies that has deserted Russia. Global car makers have joined a growing list of companies looking to exit Russia as international sanctions aimed at crippling Moscow's economy start to bite. The most recent major automaker to leave was Renault, which said it was selling 100% stake in Renault Russia to the city of Moscow, while its 67.69% interest in AutoVAZ will be sold to the state-owned Central Research and Development Automobile and Engine Institute, with a provision to buy back that stake at certain times during the next 6 years. Let's take a look at some big guns in the automobile industry that has left or freezing their businesses in Russia. Daimler Truck. Daimler Truck, DTG.de, is freezing its business activities in the country, including its cooperation with Russia truck maker KAMAZ. The world's largest truck maker said that no more trucks will be built under Daimler's joint partnership with KAMAZ, and no more components will be supplied to it. KAMAZ was established under the Soviet Union and separately makes utility vehicles for Russia's military. The partnership with Daimler was limited to civilian vehicles. "We will comply with all measures taken by German government and the EU," Daimler said on Twitter. Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz Group MBG.de is also looking into legal options to divest its 15% stake in Kamaz as quickly as possible. Mercedes-Benz has a factory outside of Moscow. Volvo. Volcar-B.st said that it would halt business in Russia until further notice. The Swedish brand explained that the decision had been made because of potential risks associated with trading material with Russia, including the sanctions imposed by the EU and US. Volvo Cars will not deliver any cars to the Russian market until further notice, the company said in a statement. Volvo sold around 9,000 cars in Russia in 2021. Truck maker AB Volvo, which is independent of the car company, said it had halted production at its factories in Russia and stopped sales in the country due to the Ukraine crisis. Volkswagen. Volkswagen VOW3.de, the second largest car maker in the world, temporarily paused the delivery of cars already in Russia to local dealerships. The news reported by Russia's RIA said Audi has stopped selling cars that are already with dealers in Russia so it can adjust the price of the vehicles to reflect the decline in the value of the ruble. Volkswagen could also be hurt by sanctions against Russia as it had a factory there since 2009 that employs about 4,000 people producing its Tiguan and Polo models, as well as the Audi Q8 and Q9, and the Skoda Rapid. Separately, Volkswagen decided to halt production for a few days this week at 2 German factories after a delay in getting parts made in Ukraine. Jaguar Land Rover. Jaguar Land Rover has paused the delivery of its cars to Russia due to trading challenges. The car maker, which produces Jaguar cars and Land Rover and Range Rover sport utility vehicles, sold 6,900 vehicles to Russia last year. The current global context also presents us with trading challenges, so we are pausing the delivery of vehicles into the Russian market and continually monitoring the situation on behalf of our global customer base. The UK's biggest car manufacturer, owned by Indian company Tata Motors, TTM, said in a statement. Renault. Renault RNO.PA said it was shutting down its plant near Moscow that makes vehicles, including the Capture and Duster models, due to logistics issues caused by the sanctions. Russia is the Renault Group's second biggest market by sales volume. Renault owns a 68% stake in AutoVAZ, owner of Russia's most famous car brand, Lada. GM. GM, a car company in the US, said it would stop sending cars to Russia until further notice. The company does not have plants in Russia and only sells about 3,000 vehicles there annually. Our thoughts are with the people of Ukraine at this time, GM said in a statement. The loss of life is a tragedy and our overriding concern is for the safety of the people in the region. Ford and BMW. Ford F and BMW, BMW.de, are said to be monitoring the situation but so far have not decided on any action. The moves are part of a broader re-evaluation by Western companies of their businesses in Russia, with some reducing their operations there or deciding to leave entirely following escalating sanctions by the West. Stellantis. Stellantis STLA has severed ties with Russia as the car and van producer suspended operations in its factories near Moscow as sanctions hit supplies. The world's fourth largest car maker manufactured and sold the Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, and Jeep brands in Russia and had just 1% share of the market. It was planning to build Fiat-branded vans there and also operated a factory with its Japanese rival Mitsubishi Motors, MMTOF. After stopping exports and imports to and from the Kremlin last month, Stellantis said that its Kaluga factory had been running at a low level for weeks. In March 2022, the Netherlands-based automaker warned it would need to shut the plant as it was running out of parts. Embargoes on some banks in the country following the invasion of Ukraine have also made it more difficult to deal with Russian firms. No one wants a business paralyzing war, even Russia, but it seems their intent of being the non-yielding aggressor is doing a greater damage to them than good. Now we have come to the end of today's video. Do you think Russia can get back into the automobile industry? Let us know in the comments section. If you like today's video, check out our video on USA versus Russia, World War III. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and tap the bell icon so you can get notifications about our next post.